Hello, good evening, and welcome to round 3 of the 420R winter series here at caterhamracer.com. Series 11 well and truly underway. Chris Hutchinson here in the commentary box with you, a little bit croaky this evening after a bit of a recent illness, but we're here trying our best. It's a relentless once the season gets going, and we've got a lot of action to bring you tonight. We are here at Road America. Wisconsin in the USA is our destination this evening. As the drivers, you can see them out on circuit already. It's an absolute mammoth circuit for you as well. It's a full 4 miles around this track. That's 6.5 kilometres. And quite a challenge indeed. So lap time of, the best of sort of 2:23, as you can see in the left of your screen there. Paul Donkin starting as he means to go on. And Ryan Hooker and Alistair Cook as well are just at... out there as well. Sorry, Anthony Cook, my mistake. And as they head around, let's quickly bring you up to date then with the season so far. A couple of weeks ago, we were at Estoril, and each of these qualification rounds, you can see the first opening 4 rounds, there are 3 qualification spots open towards the grand final on the 13th of December. And it was Paul Donkin, Anthony Cook and Alistair Gregg who took those opening 3 qualifying positions. And then last week we were at Hidden Valley. Further 3 positions got taken in the grand final. Alex Ball, first timer on the service, and he took him at the Hidden Valley. Ryan Hooker then took his space, as well as Chris Skillicorn. Chris Skillicorn and Alistair Gregg aren't with us, but at Paul Donkin, Anthony Cook, Alex Ball and Ryan Hooker are all out there racing this evening. They won't count for the qualification spots. I'll cover that in a second, but next week we'll have our final qualification race at Road America, Atlanta. Then we're heading to Portimao for our last chance qualifying for the drivers who haven't yet qualified. That'll be the last chance they get to get on that grand final grid, which will happen on the 13th of December, just a few weeks away now. And it's the grand final where we will crown our series champion. As I said, we are at the Road America course at the moment in our 420R full Caterham 7 Championship UK spec car, new for this season. And as I always like to thank Steve Arnell for all the work he did in putting that car together in quick time over the off season. And plenty of drivers out here tonight then. We have 23 drivers, I think, due on the grid this evening. So a large grid on this evening. Such was the numbers and the number this circuit can hold from a technical point of view, that we were able to put everyone into a single grid, and that's what we've done. So plenty of cars heading through this circuit. Like I say, 4 miles around the Road Atlanta track, and quite a complicated track to sort of get to grips with. We'll go on a full lap. You can see it. Let me bring out that the map you can see here with plenty of long straights. There's going to be plenty of slipstreaming action as the evening unfolds. For those who haven't joined us before, it's a single race format that we race for the series, the winter series. 1 25-minute race, so longer than the sprint races we have in the main season. So a different challenge for our drivers, and some of them have been managing with that challenge quite well. Others have sort of started to lose their concentration and focus, which obviously is part of the skill of a racing driver, is to manage that process through. If I do go offline at any point, the commentary stops abruptly as we lose see Anthony Cook dancing the rear end of that car that time through. But yes, if you hear me go offline briefly, it will be a coughing fit in the background, so we'll see how that all lands itself this evening. As we just watch the drivers heading out here. So not a track necessarily for our UK viewers or European viewers who are that familiar with, but it's a mainstay of the US series. The IndyCar races here, as to plenty of other big race series in the US. Drivers are having a lot of fun trying to get to grips with the challenge that this course gives. Why don't we go on board then with Neil Pardo as he just crosses that line up this incredibly long opening straight, heading into turn 1, just down about 2 or 3 gears into turn 1, knocking that speed off, clipping the apex, and then running it all the way to the outside of the track there. A bit more to play with then for Neil to find more time. We then head down through what was turn 2, you can't believe it, but turn 3 is a relatively straightforward right-hand 90-degree. As well, getting back on that power, plenty of nice run-off on over that curb as you head on down through 3. And a little kink under this bridge as what's classed as turn 4, but it's really just a long straight down into what they call a moraine sweep at the bottom of the hill here. It's quite a famous bit of this track. Track dives down, and then we have to go kill the speed and get that car really hooked into a tight left-hander. It really pinches in on you. Neil Pardo absolutely hooking up that nicely and using as much as that run off as you head slide a short rise before back on the brakes, and another 90-degree left-hander. Again, really technical stuff here, but you've got to use as much of that track as you can. A flat-out right-hand kink, if you get it absolutely right, you'll see drivers monstering that curb, but if they do get it wrong this evening, expect to see them facing the wrong way at some point. As we head into turn 8 then, that was down the Hurry Downs. And now we're going to head into the carousel. This is over 180 degrees of right hand, really, really fast and committed, but you've got to work out where you come off the throttle just to bleed, as you can hear Neil just coming off the accelerator as he gets then back on, feeding, hopefully hooking up with all the apexes and leaving himself just about enough room on the exit through there. One of the most famous corners then on this track, the kink, the right-hander, nearly flat out, but you've really got to line the car up nicely. And it's a challenge in the virtual just as it is in the real world, although the ramifications in the real world may be a bit more serious. Another long straight then as we go down Kettle Bottoms and into Canada Corner here at the bottom towards the tail end of this long lap now. Another right-hander, just about 90 degrees, and then we go up through Thunder Valley and into Bill Mitchell Bend on this left-hander, and that's all about positioning the car well for the final right-hander. See Neil dragging the car back over to the left-hand side before getting back on those brakes. He's outbraked himself just a touch there, loses the apex, but gets back on this throttle, and you can see how steep the hill is that we're going to have to rise up here. This is the start-finish straight now, so we're just heading back across the line to see what lap time we set. And he's going to set this time through a 2:26.7. Finds himself in 18th place at the moment. And so thank you, Neil, for taking us around a lap, well within the track limits. A little bit more of a limit to find if he wants to find the ultimate pace. You can see that Paul Donkin there setting a 2:23, and he'll be using every single last bit of this track. Who else we got out there this evening? Ryan Hooker, we've seen him as he drifts onto the grass. What an opportune moment to catch up with Ryan. But Ryan back in his livery. Last weekend we forgot to apply his livery, so it's been rectified for this week. Who are the likely contenders then for qualifying positions? So anyone who's already qualified, and remember tonight racing, that's Paul Donkin, Anthony Cook, Alex Ball, Ryan Hooker. Anyone else is therefore who appears in the top 3 other than those people will qualify for the grand final. So there are 3 spots on offer. The likely candidates for those spots at the moment, Paul Ferniehoff sits in 5th place in his patchwork car. And the number 24, he's seen him fighting for the lead, but ultimately having a few issues and dropping down early last time out and not being able to fight his way back through. Steve Arnell is another driver, absolutely consistent, and we'll be looking to see whether he can do anything about it as we've come to the end of qualifying. So we'll just cover the order as later on as soon as they get back to the pits. Andrew Parker's another person on, I think, for the first time this series. So he's been setting the ultimate lap pace in testing, but as soon as we get to qualifying, he's just a couple of tenths away, isn't he? In fact, about 4 tenths off of the ultimate pace set by Paul Donkin. But remember, he's in good form for that qualifying position if he can maintain that position to the end of this 25-minute race. Tom Willis also, here he is in his sort of brushed aluminium car, red roll cage, using every single last bit of the track limit there around Cascades. That's not going to necessarily do your tyres, temperature and dust any good. He's lost out a little bit there by going on the grass. Number 81, Tom Willis, but watch out for him. He's in 2nd place on the grid currently, so that's not a bad starting position for him as he uses, you can see there, every single last millimetre of the tarmac surface available to him. Gary Preble's been there or thereabouts. He's out in the purple machine this evening, so we'll keep an eye out for him. He's just following on behind James Fowler, I think that is, in that sort of sister aluminium car, but he's got the orange roll cage. You can tell him the difference from Tom Willis by that. So the driver's just heading back. That might have been, could have been Anthony Hambleton just getting reset back to the pits there. So we watch this there. So if you do happen to muck up this lap, then you won't get another chance. If you've been over the line, you can go and complete your next lap. And we did see Alex Ball there puts in a last lap race lap. He just bumps himself down. the start-finish straight. But Alex Ball did manage to improve up to 9th place there. Remember, last time out he was 2nd and took that qualifying spot. First time out with us. Looks like he's got a challenge on his hands to make up 9 places if he wants to try and get back to the podium and ultimately the top step. So we've watched these two drafting themselves up here along that start-finish straight. And there you go, Gary Preble and James Fowler both move up to 4th and 5th in the standings then on that last lap effort, as does Paul Ferneyhough, moves his time up to 7th place. And so he lost out a little bit at the end there. He did improve, but everyone else is sort of improving with them. So let's go and have a confirmation then of the starting order. We do have a couple of drivers still finishing, so we'll watch out in case any positions change, but it looks like that has now concluded. So Donkin finds himself, Paul Donkin finds himself on pole position once more. I think that's 3 poles from 3 times out. Andrew Parker moved himself up to 2nd late on in that race, just ahead of Tom Willis, and that's the top 3 for the start of this race. Will it stay that way as we head in through 25 minutes? James Fowler, great result for him, sitting in that 4th place then with Gary Preble. You saw them towing each other across that line, 4th and 5th. Ryan Hooker finds himself in 6th place. Paul Ferneyhough, Steve Arnell slip late on back down to 7th and 8th. Anthony Cook sits 9th, and Alex Ball making up that top 10 there, just making it in. John Lang sits 11th. Dan Jude 12th. Will Rayson, Richard Wilson. Then we have Anthony Hambleton, Daniel Turbener, Nick Platts, Alan Curtis. Evgeny Olyanik is in 19th. Neil Pardo, we were watching on that lap, is in 20th. Then we have Dave Hardcastle, George Berridge, and James Houston in the 23rd position. So a big field of 23 drivers then to feast your eyes on. What will they do? Remember, we do run damage on these Winter Series races, so they really do have to take care of each other out there in order to make sure their car's going to last to the end. So it's Donkin, Parker, Willis take the front 3 positions. That's exactly where they want to be. Parker, Willis, and then we got Fowler also looking for that qualifying position, as well as does Preble. So all of those drivers behind Paul Donkin are looking to see whether they can get their qualifying position, all the way down to Ryan Hooker, who's already got his. Then we have Paul Ferneyhough, Steve Arnell, Anthony Cook. Their drivers are out on the grid. So let's get out and join them there, as we just watch them, see them all lined up on this start-finish straight. Like I say, plenty of flat scenery around this Wisconsin landscape. But it's Paul Donkin in his red machine there who lines up in the 24 on the left of your grid. And he lines up in pole position once more. But Andrew Parker on the right-hand side in the number 99. Can he do anything about the dominance of Donkin this season? Looks like Tom Willis is up for the fight this time as well in his aluminium car with a red roll hoop on the left. And then his sister car on the right, just behind Andrew Parker. You just see him peeking out there on there. Gary Preble lines up in the purple car, and it's Ryan Hooker in the green and white machinery. Behind them, it's Ferneyhough in his Mondrian-inspired car. And then we have also Steve Arnell. So the lights are on our screen. We're getting ready then for 25 minutes around the Road America circuit. 4 miles around. How many laps will they get in? We're about to find out. Let's get race 3 of season 11 underway then. Nice even start. A little bit of bogging down in the engine by a lot of the drivers there, but this 23 car field all getting away then nicely as they're going to head up into turn 1. The first difficult phase of this race. You can see them all swarming across that. It's a fast, open left-hander. They do have to get on the brakes, and Andrew Parker's losing out a little bit there by in fact I think he's dropped all the way down to about 5th, so he must have really bogged down. But we've got Donkin in the lead, we've got Ryan Hooker on the grass, we've got a couple of spinners in the background. I think that might be Anthony Hambleton in the black car just spinning around as they exited turn 1. As we head then down the first of the Moraine sweep here into turn 5, that turn right at the bottom of the corner, so the bottom of the hill, as they all fan out 3 wide. Parker's kind of trying to put it 3 wide as they head through these sweeps down this steep hill. Can they get it all stopped up and still pointing in the right direction? That is a tough move to get stopped up. Is Preble through the middle, manages to hold on. We've got Tom Willis out on the grass, Fowler following out there, and everyone else just about managing to get in. A little bit of a contact there between Parker and Fowler as they head back up through this 90-degree left-hander. Donkin, though, fly, sort of let loose off the front of the grid. It didn't look like he was going to have it all his way. And now it's going to see whether Willis can do anything about pulling that back. Preble's made a great start, up from about 6 on the grid now into that 3rd place. So he's been shoving his nose down the middle of those other drivers and making his way through. Ryan Hooker also making a good start, sees himself up into that 4th place. Remember, Hooker and Donkin do not count for qualifying positions, and therefore you can disregard them from the result, but they can have as much fun as they like racing out here. As we head down then underneath the Continental Tyre Bridge and head out into the latter part of this circuit. That's the kink that they've all gone through. They're all managing to keep within bounds. It looks like Fowler's having to take to the grass to try and avoid and get alongside. We go 3 wide then into Canada Corner for the first time. Hooker down the inside. There's a little bit of contact there. That's never going to work. That's got Preble all sideways. They all managed to just about get it right until Preble was collected once more by Parker. Had nowhere else to go. Preble will gather itself back up and get back into that race, but I think he's actually had a further little incident back there. 3 wide into that was a bit opportunistic, and it didn't work out that time through for everyone, as Paul Fernie has made now positions. Andrew Parker is going backwards quickly, starting in that 2nd place on the grid, didn't he? So he's dropping backwards at the moment, and hopefully hasn't got any damage after that contact. Whether there'll be any ramifications, but we've still got 3 wide. They haven't stopped yet. That's Alex Ball, who took the 2nd place on his debut last time out. Took his qualifying position. He's shoved his car up the middle in his nice distinctive livery there. Sort of a maze almost design over it. Pink and orange fade. But good to see him there. And also a little sign on the back to remind all the drivers around him not to lock up. As we see Fowler recovering back through then after a difficult start. Ryan Hooker, after that sort of good start, has dropped back slightly, but Donkin is well off the front of this pack at the moment. He hasn't had it all his own way in pre-qualifying. He's worked hard to find all the extra time he needed to keep up with Andrew Parker, but Andrew Parker's had a bad start to this race and therefore will struggle to get that back. Willis absolutely on the rear wheel of Alex Ball there as Fowler drops it 2 wide there, and there goes Ryan Hooker, takes that through. It's plenty of sort of inviting runoff there, but it just slows you down. Parker back on the grass alongside Arnell as they were heading up the hill that time through. Again, he's not having a race to remember at the moment, is he? Arnell moving up that place, and John Lang, where did he start on the grid? Well, he's up to 6th place now, so he's had a fantastic opening to this race. Good for John. He puts himself right in the contention then for these qualifying spots. We'll cover that as the race sort of calms down, but right now it doesn't look like it's going to, does it? Who was that in that orange car looking like he was making it 4 wide? Watson that was in the orange car, so seeing whether he can make up. He's 11th place at the moment, but seeing whether he can make further places up. They watch Donkin disappear out. It's Alex Ball finds himself in 2nd place. You watch Fowler as he heads through this kink on the right hand, just about keeping it in. He was absolutely on the ragged edge, kicked up the dust, and that would have been a scary moment in the cockpit as we watch these 3 in front go 3 wide once more. It didn't work out too well last time through. It is going to be Willis down the inside, but Alex Ball's got the run back on him as they head up through Thunder Valley then, through these tight little sequence before this positioning left-hander, the Bill Mitchell bend, before the final turn 14 of this Road America circuit. Alex Ball heads this little pack. Willis rear end sliding all over the place. Ryan Hooker will look to see whether he can gain momentum up this hill, and it looks like he has done that. In fact, yes, he's going to have that done before they even hit the hill. Willis has to sit into that slipstream. Here comes Fowler just behind them. Has Ferneyhoff got anything to do to catch back up with this lead pack? He needs to if he wants one of these qualifying positions. 3 wide again though, why not? Let's do it for the 4th time. It's worked out most of the time, hasn't it? Alex Ball, though, losing out that time. You can see how important that toe is. Ryan Hooker just has enough to sweep across the nose cone of Willis as they head then down the street. Well, what an opening to this race, and I'm looking forward to more of the same. You can see further back is even more battling as Ferneyhoff fights his way back past John Lang there, with Andrew Parker making his way back through the field as well. Steve Arnell still 20 minutes left on this clock, and therefore still plenty of opportunity, especially on a lap like this. There's more potential contact there as these battle pack just go at it. And in fact, the roof in front again once more side by side. Alex Ball seeing whether he can hold it round the outside. Hooker has to get off the throttle. That's going to give Willis a little look, and Fowler's going to get right back involved again. Donkin still sitting pretty off the front of this, but they are swapping positions every opportunity, aren't they? Ryan Hooker loses that rear end, but he's got just about enough momentum. There's nowhere for anyone else to go as they go around that really flat out right hander. There's no gap between them. They're still swarming each other. Alex Ball down the inside. Ryan Hooker is the sandwich that time. The sandwich filling, I should say, as Fowler sees whether he can carry the momentum, but he's not going to make it stick around the outside of Carousel. He's going to have to slip back in line. There's a long way around there. It's far too long to make it work, and he does indeed slip back, but he's going to have a bit of a run on them all as they head into the kink. The kink is absolutely it's single file through. That has to be. If you try and go two abreast there, you will come a cropper. So they do all sit single file. They have to wait patiently on their throttle and wait for the toe to start kicking in as they head back down then towards Canada Corner for the fourth try. This is their completed 3 laps. They're onto in their 4th already. So Willis this time comes out on top. Ryan Hooker a little lock up, but still managed to get it stopped. Hooker is going to look to see whether he can do anything about Willis, who did drift wide that time, and who's going to be Alex Ball making up that place. But as they go through the left, there's more contact between that was Ball and Willis as they made contact this time. Really difficult sequence. They've just about got away with it as we watch Ryan Hooker following along. This is his view as they head then up the start-finish straight. He's got a fantastic toe on Willis this time. He's going to put it 3 wide by the time we get to turn 1 for sure. Willis has lost a little bit of momentum, and here comes that 3 wide. We go into the helicopter cam and then to watch them to see how they sort this out. Hooker had that momentum all the way up the hill, a little bit of toe to help him through, and that's going to see him into the lead of this little battle here. Remember, Donkin's off at the front. There's nothing between these cars as they head into turn 1 then. They are not giving themselves an absolute millimetre out there, are they? Alex Ball, Hooker and Donkin have all got qualifying positions already, so they do not count for qualifying spots. So currently in the top qualifying spots are Willis, Fowler and John Lang. John Lang, you wouldn't have put too high a bet on that given his qualifying position, but he's managed to stick it into that 6th place. In fact, he's lost out, and then he just about gets it back as I take another breath in. Luckily, I haven't had a coughing fit yet, but I think it's incoming with all this action. Ryan Hooker can lose out once more as they head down the line then, and then Willis has to sit into 2nd place. It's Alex Ball's turn to see what he can do out front. So as Hooker goes back up the inside into Corvette Bridge, the left-hand 90-degree left-hander. Fairly straightforward, but there is a little bit of off camber, so you just have to be a bit aware of that as you then head through this flat-out right-hand kink down the hill then to hurry downs towards the turn 8. 90 degree. You've got to get all that speed off, ready for that 90 degree, and nice inviting again bit of runoff before the right hander, the Carousel, that long right hander. You can see on the map it's at the sort of top left hand side of the map as they head through the Carousel this time. You can see all the drivers and all the dots, so we haven't had really a chance to look at any of the other drivers. There is a bit of a back marker there, it looks like, that we're dealing with as well, someone who's had a couple of issues maybe. And the brown car there, that's Yevgeny. So he's looking to hopefully let this battle pack through. If he sees this coming in your mirrors, you probably want to dive into the pits, wouldn't you? It's going to look frightening. But I'm sure Ryan Hooker and all the others were seeing how they can use that as an opportunity. Alex Ball having to chop across the nose of Willis that time. And actually that gave him a super slingshot out of the corner. And out he flings straight in front of this battle pack once more. John Lang is looking to see whether he can join in that party. 4 of them playing away. He's going to see whether he can make that 5 people all having a battle. A little bit of a tap there. Love tap, we'll call it for now. Again, another driver, that one in the red machine. I think that's David Harcastle. He does dive to the pits to avoid this angry swarm of Caterhams heading up the long start-finish straight once more. You can see there's plenty of other drivers on this race, but I can't take my eyes off of this battle here. It's absolutely been scintillating from start to finish. 15 minutes still to go as well, so can they keep it going? There's a lot of concentration needed to do that. Willis does take the lead. Alex Ball just brushes the rear panel. Fowler this time making his way up for the first time for a little while that he's made his way past that 4th or 5th place on the field. Sits in front of Ryan Hooker now, who's now got to watch his mirrors for John Lang, who's approaching. Ryan Hooker really out to the limits of the track there. Again, would have been a scary moment. Again, you can see here coming through ahead of this, losing time to this battle packer. But he will see whether they catch him in an opportune moment or whether it's going to be a problem. There's Willis squeezing Fowler now onto the dust and dirt. Fowler had to get out the throttle, but he still managed to keep a lot of momentum. Oh, he's made contact with Alex Carter. There's a little bit of dirt on his tyres. Carter, just a little bit, Ball, sorry. A little bit of dirt on Fowler's tyres caused Ball contact. Ball managed to gather it all back together. And they are going to continue this battle. They will all get it back together. Hopefully there's no damage there, but that does leave Willis and Ryan Hooker now a little bit of a safety gap, but John Lang making more and more progress, finds himself in the 2nd qualifying position now in that 4th place. again, it's hard to take our eyes off this, but let's have a little look at further back. We were watching Ferniehoff, but he looks like he's dropped all the way back down to 13th, having an absolute battle ding-dong with Daniel Tabada. Little Alan Curtis, Alan Curtis out front, and there's Andrew Parker as well. So they're not having good races at this stage. Looks like unless something really spectacular happens out front, which it could well do, they look like they're going to be waiting for next week. Arnell absolutely nose to tail with Watson there. Racing is just in front of them with Cook not too far off the front of them. Remember, Cook's also another driver with a qualifying position. So battles absolutely everywhere up and down this field. Everywhere you watch, there are battles going on. As Arnell's just lost a place there to Watson. Watson got briefly in front of him, but they are going at it again once more. And just in front of them, Racing in the green machine. And these are sort of the chase battle, but they kind of lost a little bit of ground over Fowler. So they're kind of a second back as we go back to this lead battle. I say it's lead battle. I keep forgetting that Donkin's off the front, don't I? He's set another lap record, 23.2 this time. That's even faster than qualifying. What a fantastic effort from him. Ryan Hooker went over the line, 47 of a second down on Willis that time through. Willis makes his way back through, using a bit too much of that runoff. He's going to lose speed as he heads down the hill this time then. Ryan Hooker is able to get back down the inside into this 90-degree right-hander. Has he got enough grip to keep within track limits? Yes, he does. John Lang has recovered it all back together, and Ball just behind him, seeing what he can do as they head under the Sargento Cheese Banner Bridge. We like that bridge a lot. As Willis comes down then into a moraine sweep and down into turn 5. This steep left-hand approach, left-hand 90-degree left. Goodness me. Too many words in too short a time. Willis, though, didn't quite make that stick. Ryan Hooker's going to get back underneath him as they head into turn 6. He's got nowhere to go. And there is Evgeny having a little bit of an issue there, but that does break him out of the way of this battle. He's going to recover back to the track. And he will hopefully therefore be out of harm's way on the inside there, as we see Ryan Hooker once more down the inside. Alex Ball looking back to see whether he can do anything about it. Willis back on the gravel and dirt as they head through their right-hander this time. Ryan Hooker did have a bit of momentum, but that's not going to leave anyone anywhere to go. Ryan Hooker's going to see whether he can do all the way round the long way. I think he may have got it done. Whether he's got the momentum down this next straight, I don't know. But he's on the outside then of this left-hand kink. There's really not room for 2 cars. They're going to try it though. Why not put 3 cars down there? That's going to cost them speed all the way down here. Watch for John Lang, going to catch up with an absolute head of steam as Ball back to the outside then. He's going to look at the inside as they go into Canada Corner this time. 3 wide once more, but Ball has to capitulate. A little bit of a lock up there. Ryan Hooker, that slower outside line, that's going to give Willis a little bit of momentum, but remember, this is kind of single file around here. There's not a lot of space. They are going to go 2 wide once more. Ball's got nowhere to go. John Lang seeing what he can do. They're going side by side onto this start finish straight. That's also going to slow them down. John Lang trying for the outside of Ball this time then, as they head up this start finish straight. Ball 3 wide on the inside, gathered all that momentum up as everyone else tripped over themselves. He's going to push himself initially into the lead. He probably won't lead by the time we get into turn 1 then. Nose to tail on the right of the side, nose to tail on the left hand side. Willis seeing where he can go. Ryan Hooker just positioning his car up the middle. He is not going to let anyone else get past him, and it is indeed Ryan Hooker that maybe just heads everyone into turn 1. Alex Ball just holds on though. He's going to have the inside line, therefore he will have the momentum. Hooker uses the extra space on the outside in his 1-to-1 liveried green and white car there. The driving instructor across this Caterham paddock showing what he's made of. It is Willis though. He's been the constant in that battle, but it's currently Lang and Willis and Fowler who hold the qualifying positions. Once you disregard Alex Ball and Ryan Hooker and Paul Donkin from that result. So it's always changing. Remember, these drivers who haven't 3 wide. I mean, I kind of not commentating on anymore because it's kind of become usual. Like, this track is presenting some absolutely amazing racing, and these drivers' concentration levels currently, as I say that, we had a bit more contact and Balls finds himself back on that runoff. That lets Fowler go through. Alistair Cook is also back up to... Sorry, Anthony Cook. I keep getting your name wrong. Sorry, Anthony. Anthony Cook back up then into this battle, but he's also the driver that has already got his qualifying spot. He doesn't count for that, so he's not upsetting the results. And it is still Lang, Willis and Fowler who hold those 3 spots. Lang in his purple and turquoise machinery, the sparkling pigeon-inspired in livery, as I understand it. They fly through the kink this time through. Lang just holding it inside track limits, as does Ball. All making it look effortless at this stage, but it'll be frantic and hot and busy driving for all of these drivers. Even in the virtual world, it will start to tell on their concentration. Every single last millimetre is counting here. As there goes Anthony Cook into that. Looks like he's going to take Lang. No, he doesn't quite make that stick. But look who's jumping to join the party, because Rayson and Preble. Remember Preble? He was there early on, wasn't he, until he had that incident. He's not... in fact, he's 5 seconds down. I'm bigging that one up. I think he's got a bit of work to do to get over that in the next 8 minutes of this race. But certainly Rayson has done well to catch up with this group in the lime green. You can just see off the tail as the 2 aluminium cars go side by side, as they have done in real life many a time. Fowler, though, just heading. Willis there. Absolutely nose to tail. Not even a millimetre between them as they head down. Just goes downhill as they head into turn 1 here. A daunting right-hander in real life and in the sim world, carrying as much speed as you can off of that 130, 140 mile an hour straight heading up the hill. But this time it is Fowler that looks like he's got the best of Willis. It's the first time you've seen him in front of Willis for a little while, as then Hooker heads them both as well, seeing whether he can do anything about springing a gap, just even trying to manoeuvre his car to get rid of some of that toe. In simulator world, the toe starts really kicking in about half second back, so he is well within that range as Willis gets back in front of Fowler. Lang looks down to the inside of Cook and looks like he's made that stick as well. Ball's back with them again. Donkin is now 16 seconds off the front of this group. I am sure he will excuse me for not concentrating too much on him. He is going to enjoy watching this battle back, I'm sure, as much as anyone else on the live replays that you can get across YouTube. Remember, all of our races are available on the caterhamracer.com channel, and we also put them on caterhamracer.com on the website as well for you to enjoy. So if you're tuning in late and want to see what action's already happened, well, you can do so across YouTube and across caterhamracer.com. If you're a racer out there and looking to see how you can get involved in this absolute madness, then why not come to caterhamracer.com? All the information's there for you can join us in future series. As Fowler goes all the way onto the grass, manages to just get his foot out of the throttle and carry it all together before meeting the barrier. Didn't lose too much time either, did he? As he goes side by side then for this second place. Willis back in front. Little bit of a lock-up. Pushes himself out wide. Hooker was nowhere to go, though. Willis had this rear panel blocking off any return action from Hooker. And Hooker, therefore, is now going to sit and watch Tom Willis for a little bit. But I am sure it won't last too long as they head then into the last turn. Turn 14 around this 4-mile track. 4 mile of absolute blistering action. We've had nearly 20 minutes of this race already. And we've still got another 5 to go. As Hooker once again returns the favour. Looking just a bit further down the field to see where the other battles are. And it's Paul Ferneyhoff. Remember, we said that Paul Ferneyhoff and Steve Arnell and Parker were race favourites probably for qualifying positions before the start of this race. As their races worked out, they sit here having a lot of fun. Around Hooker, I'm seeing losing some spaces. But we take our eyes off of this battle for 2 seconds and find them swapping all over the place again. In fact, there's lots of swapping. John Lang looks like he's dropped it somewhere. What's happened to Lang? There's a bit of confusion. Preble's now in front of him, so he's lost 5 seconds. Whether he just dropped it onto the edge of the track or whether he was helped. Unfortunately, we just cut away before we saw what happened. He's now having a battle royale with Preble. He's recovering after his early spin. But back to the qualifying spots then. Hooker down the inside, he's got his already secured. Willis looking for his, but he's willing to throw it all away, isn't he, as he gets back onto the dirt. And again, Ball, who's also got his qualifying position. Again, it's been absolutely fantastic to watch them absolutely racing and not holding back one little iota. They've been pushing forward as far and as hard as they can every single opportunity, and that's moved them away from that chasing pack. Fowler lost the rear of the car once more, gathers it all together. That's going to give Ball the run down the inside. We've seen Fowler do that a couple of times as we come into the tail end of this race. A little bit of maybe fatigue and mental fatigue and physical fatigue even creeping in there as we head further. 4 minutes of this race to go. I will try and watch Donkin over the line, but that's as much as I will do for him. And if he wants to get on the stream more, he's going to have to get stuck into these battles rather than just disappearing off up the road. Millimetres as his Hooker's rear end of his car was dancing over that curb, but bounced up in the air. Would have again been uncomfortable, but it's worked out for him this time too, and it looks like he might even have an empty corner. No cars down his inside as they head into Canada corner this time through for what's going to be probably penultimate time. Hard to say when. In fact, we're going to have a couple more laps, aren't we? So they will have a couple more times around that corner, as long as Donkin is going to cross the line fairly shortly, which he should do if he hasn't already done so. In fact, he has. Not quite lap record pace for Donkin that time through. Around Hooker on the grass. It's looked like these two have now pulled nicely clear of Alex Ball in that fourth place. And he's got that qualifying position. So qualifiers now are Willis and then Fowler and Rayson. So Rayson has found his way up in his green machine all the way up into a qualifying position. What a fantastic run through he's had. I'll have to look after the race to see where he started, but it certainly wasn't in the top 6 or so. So he's had a great run through up into that 6th place and what is turning out to be qualifying position. He sees Fowler ahead. If he can work it out, he can know that he's in that qualifying position and he can relax into it. Because Tom Willis, James Fowler and Will Rayson sit there. John Lang's quite a long way behind now, 6 seconds off the rear, so he can actually sit quite comfortably and watch this. But it's hard to know that when you're in the car. It's easy to know that when you're outside as the battles rage on. 2 minutes 15 of this race to go. So this will be the penultimate lap that they are completing as Fowler looks down the inside of Ball again. Oh, more contact this time into that. Didn't never move, never really looked on. We were quite a long way back, but they did look like it was a pretty speculative move, and that still maintains Fowler in his qualifying spot. But he is doesn't want to do too many more of that. We've seen him spinning. We saw him spinning in the sort of warm-up racing as well that we were doing just before we got into official practice. So he has got a bit of using every single last millimetre of tarmac, but that is costing him. I'll just note back here, we've got this little battle pack Tarboner. Looks like Ferneyhoff, Arnell and Cook in there as well. So Cook, what happened to him? Maybe that was why the reason why John Lang also dropped back down through the field. We'll have to see and hear from the drivers after this race finished, but they're kind of suspiciously in similar areas of the track, aren't we, after having been fighting out front. As this battle here is just as fierce as the battle out front. That's Cook onto the tarmac, onto the grass, onto the gravel, onto the dust, kicks it up 3 wide. Why not make it 4 wide? But might not make it 5 wide. Curtis trying to get through the middle there in the number 43 aluminium car. Everyone hard on the brakes. Arnell swoops around the outside. We got 2 cars losing the rear as they absolutely, and collecting Watson there. So it all ended in tears as they headed into that Canada corner that time for the penultimate time. Donkin is now on to his last lap, or very nearly will be. And, yes, he is on to his last lap as we watch this battle. Let's focus in a little bit then. Hooker has distanced Alex Ball. What happened to Tom Willis? We cut away from him at the wrong moment. He's dropped back now into the behind Rayson, who's now up to 4th place. So it's Rayson taking the first qualifying position because the 3 in front of him are all qualified. Tom Willis taking the 2nd position, Fowler. So it's still the same 3 people. They've swapped order. And do they know that they've got those qualifying positions? And please do hold on to them. See what we can get done. But Donkin still heads this field. Don't forget he's out there. Hooker in that 2nd place. Again, all of these 3 drivers out front have already got their qualifying positions, so they're disregarded, and it is Rayson who finds himself in 4th, but in the 1st qualifying position. Willis into the 2nd qualifying position, and Fowler follows him on. You know what? It's not too far back now to John Lang in that chase pack. If they do trip each other up anymore, they will cause themselves mischief. Where is Paul Donkin? Here he is. He's on his final lap. We better have a little chat about him. This is his 3rd win from 3 in his 420R, and you'll see him racing in the real world next year for the Pro-Am Championship in this national, aiming for the title of British Caterham champion in the real world. Good to see him out there. He's the current Am champion in that championship, so he's taking the step up, and we look forward to seeing what he can do. Ball here. First time out last time, so second race for us here. And racing there in this green machine. Remember, he doesn't have to do anything. I hope Tom Willis knows that they're both solid in their qualifying positions as they head in. Willis is going to see whether he can cover it back. He's not been prepared at all, has he, to let any of those positions go. But that's what's Donkin then up as long start-finish straight to take his third win from 3. Weaving in delight as he comes up to the line then. Who's going to come up over the crest? Who's going to take into that second place? We're expecting it to be Ryan Hooker as we come into the tail end. There's a little bit of a gap back, isn't there, from Ryan Hooker. Let's just catch up with them out there on the circuit. Here he comes then up that start-finish straight. He is going to take that with Alex Ball in the 3rd place. Willis is going to take into the 4th place as they come across the line then this time. Faster lap before him. So we then watch Fowler and then Parker's next up. So he's recovered himself back through. You've got all sorts of shenanigans there. Gary Preble, Paul Foddy facing the wrong way. John Lang facing the wrong way as they came out that final corner. Looking like John Lang is fast reversing down the barrier to see whether he can cross the line. He does indeed cross the line. What a bizarre end to this race. The rest of the field all coming across there. Foddy, Preble, Cook, Curtis, Hamilton, Pardo, and then Platts. This is Watson coming across. Some disappointing end to some of these drivers, and we have a little bit of a gap now back to James Houston. We'll watch Evgeny come across the line there. He's been lapped in that 20th position, as was Dave Hardcastle. We're just watching across the line there. What a breathless race. Just Houston left to come in. We've got 2 DNFs there, Berridge and Jude. Well, we'll head back to the pits then while we wait for Houston to get back to us. There is James crossing the line, I believe. So, let's recap that result then. Give ourselves a little bit of breathing room. Paul Donkin takes the win then by 19 seconds, nearly 20 seconds over. Ryan Hooker in 2nd place. Alex Ball came home 3rd. Those 3 have already qualified, so they are not in the position to take another qualifying spot, which means Tom Willis takes the first qualifying spot of this evening, ahead of Will Rayson, who also, congratulations on that 5th place from what fell fairly far down the field. James Fowler in 6th place, clinging on in there, did try and throw it away. And then we got some drivers who did seem to throw it away or had it thrown away for them. Andrew Parker in 7th place. Steve Arnell in 8th. Daniel Turner in that 10th place. And we saw all sorts of shenanigans. Paul Ferdinand crossing the line 11th. Gary Preble in 12th. And Anthony Cook in 13th. Alan Curtis 14th. Anthony Hamilton 15th. Neil Pardo came across 16th. Platts 17th. Then we had Watson, Houston and Yevgeny. And Hardcastle, Berridge, Dan Jude and Ryan Wilby didn't start. Woo! I think we're going to see whether we can chat to some of these drivers, whether they're going to be available to me in the commentary box. We will have to have a look, but it would be great to be able to chat to them, wouldn't it? So let me just get that. See some of the cars. Are there any of them left in the pit lane? A few of them still hanging about. Let's have a chat to see who we've got. I'm going to start with, if I can find him, is James Fowler there. Hey, Mr. Fowler, have you got me in the commentary box? Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Hello. I am coming to you because, despite best efforts, you have taken a qualifying spot. It must have been such a frantic race, but from the outside it looked amazing, and it just never let up.
No, it was one of the best races I've ever done. It was so tight, and everyone was so disciplined, and there was a little bits of contact, and all the rest of it. It was just so hard to keep your head together for the whole race, and then those last 5 minutes I was just clinging on. So yeah, I mean, it was despite my best efforts to throw it away at the end. I'm glad I kept hold of one.
And you were spinning like a top in practice, which you'll be glad I let everyone know as well. So congratulations on your qualifying spot. It's good that it's got done, and I look forward to seeing you again out on track.
Nice one, thank you, Sheezy. Thanks.
Alrighty, let's go and have a look at Willis if he's around. Hey Tom, have you got me in the commentary box? Hello, Mr. Willis.
Jeez, how you doing?
Hey, incredible race. I mean, it did look like you were trying to throw away a qualifying spot, but you still did manage to get a qualifying spot. So
yeah, I hit the wall pretty hard too. So if it was real life, I think I'd have a few £1,000 worth of damage. But yeah, I'm happy with getting through. It was a great race. It's by far the best Caterham Racer race I've ever had. So
there was millimeters between all six of you at one point. It was incredible to watch, and yeah, congratulations on your qualifying spot. But hopefully you can join us for more of the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Making some time for this winter series. So yeah, loving it. Thanks for all your efforts.
No worries, and look forward to seeing you out there again. So yeah, once again, congratulations, and I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, mate. Bye bye.
Looks like we haven't got Rayson available to us, unfortunately, so I can't speak to him and congratulate him. But let's go now into the in fact, yeah, Will Rayson is there, but let's see if I can get him. Hey Will, I don't suppose you've got me in the commentary box. Have you got audio?
Hello.
Hey Will, nice to speak to you. Well done. What a run through. Let us know where you started on the grid, because that must have been an incredible run.
Man alive. This when they call this racing a simulation, they absolutely mean it, because I'm telling you, I feel exactly the same emotions when I'm doing this, when I'm behind the car for real. It's just extraordinary. The stress, the excitement, the adrenaline, everything is unbelievable. Well, yeah, I mean, it was a fabulous race for me. I think I started 13th. I think I qualified 13th.
What a result.
And to be honest with you, I just kept going round and round and round, and the people in front of me obligingly span off.
The seas parted, as they say, so you managed to make
there were periods when I was sort of on my own, and there was a group of 3 or 4 cars in front, and I was, and I wasn't making a huge amount of gain on them, but I was sort of there or thereabouts, and I was thinking, I wonder what I need is for these 3 or 4 to get into a tussle, and a couple of them to go off, and they did.
They obliged. So incredible run through, great stuff. You've got your qualifying spot, but hopefully we'll see you out there again next time out for more of the same.
Fabulous, loving it. Thank you very much.
Great stuff. Speak soon. Alrighty, let's get on to the actual podium then. Alex Ball's not available, so let's get Ryan Hooker in here. If we can get Ryan, are you there for me?
Good evening, Chris.
We got you back in your one-to-one car, so we got all your advertising out there for you. And great. I mean, we've just been saying to all the other drivers I've been speaking to, breathless race, no let-up at all. You had a little gap, just sort of, I guess, 2 or 3 minutes before the end. That was it.
Yeah, very much so, Chris. Qualifying, maybe I was targeting at least to be at least 2 or 3 positions a bit high, thinking it would be make life a little bit easier, but with these long straights, you could start where I did or further back and still come through, so that proved not to really be an issue there. Yeah, make a good start, and it was just a pack, and it was just super exciting, and I bet Paul wished he'd eased off and joined us to have some fun rather than go around on his own. But
you know what, we didn't watch him.
Fantastic.
We didn't watch him one little bit in that race. We were glued to the battle for that second place. It was brilliant to watch, and like you say, after a good start, it just never relented after that, did it?
No, absolutely action packed, and everyone giving each other space, 3 abreast, 2 abreast. It was just, fantastic. So I'm obviously looking forward to watching it back and being on board with different drivers and just reliving it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all there live on YouTube and on our channel, so you can go relive it whenever you like. Good. We will see you back out there. Already got your qualifying spot, so it was all for fun, which is even more insane. But we will see you next week, hopefully.
Yeah, very much so. Yep, we'll be back next week. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Ryan. All right, let's talk to our winner. Hello, Mr. Donkin. Have you got me in commentary?
Hi, Chris. You all right?
Another dominant win. We were looking at your Donkin Group car live on the stream at the moment, but we didn't see you at all this evening because we have been absolutely glued, and you will want to watch that back. But don't expect to see much coverage of yourself.
Yeah, that's fine. I look forward to watching it after, Chris. But first of all, thanks for making it on, because I know you've not been well, so I appreciate you doing the stream. But yeah, it was a good race. The start wasn't the best, but I think everyone struggled, to be fair. Managed to get a breakaway at the front and just thought I'd push on.
Yeah, it really bogged down everyone off the line, didn't it? It was surprising how it bogged, but yeah, it's like I say, everyone, the battle behind just saved you, and then I think 19 seconds, or nearly 20 seconds, was your gap at the end. It's been a bit of a dream series so far.
So far, so good. So we'll take it while we can. But yeah, I kept looking in the mirror, saw Ryan and all the boys having a big fight, so I knew that would extend my gap, and I just thought I'll push on. And I think the lap times just got quicker and quicker, so it was enjoyable but quite lonely out front.
Yeah, I think I mean, sadly we're not scoring points because it all comes down to that final. You'll have to do it all again, but it's one more chance to have a little practice before then the grand final on the 13th of December.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I'm enjoying doing this week in, week out anyway, so we'll just keep cracking on and then look forward to the final, as you say.
All right, then. We will see you again next week. Speak soon.
Thanks once again, Chris. Cheers.
Alrighty, so as we said, it is relentless. It keeps going. It never relents. We are at another American track, another road track. This time it is Road Atlanta, as we watch Paul Donkin's car sliding across the road there. But Road America this week has been absolutely spectacular. What does Road Atlanta have in store for us? Well, you've got only 7 days to find out. We'll be doing it all again then. Thanks ever so much to everyone for tuning in this winter series, the 420R winter series at caterhamracer.com. If you enjoyed tonight's action, then why not like, subscribe, and do all those other social things to make sure you don't miss a second of action. We'll be with you again next week. Bye-bye.